Good afternoon, guys, and welcome again, guys, for tuning in, and thank you guys for tuning in to the Rhoda Young Live TV show. Right now, I am here downtown Norfolk, guys, where we have another black female running for office here that want to bring a change to our community. She has been doing this type of work over 20-some years, guys. Right now, she's running for the eternal what?
The Norfolk Commonwealth Attorney, so the head of the prosecutor's office.
She is running for the head of the prosecutor office here in Norfolk, Virginia. Did you say you was the first black what?
I would be the first black female prosecutor in the city of Norfolk.
Wow, wow.
So, the first black female prosecutor in the city of Norfolk. And I'm asking everybody to come out on June 8th and vote for me. The biggest challenge I have is that nobody knows about this June 8th date. So I'm asking you to come out. It's the position that determines who gets charged with criminal offenses and who doesn't, who languishes in jail and who doesn't, who gets probation and parole for too many years and who doesn't. So I need everybody to come out and vote on June 8th. I can tell you that on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I'm going to be at the Soul Food Kitchen on East Virginia Beach Boulevard. I think it's 5957 East Virginia Beach Boulevard. I'm asking everybody to come out and get flyers to put in their window like I have in my vehicle and to put on your back window. So if you come out there, you'll be able to talk to me. We can, talk about the position, but it's a very powerful position. We just elected the first black vice president of the United States, but we are not done. Norfolk, we need to elect me as the first black woman of the prosecutor's office. So again, come out June 8th, come out April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to the Soul Food Kitchen between 11 a.m. and 4. We can talk. I can get you some flyers. I need your support.
Can you tell me why is it so important that the black community come out on June 8th and support you to get into the prosecutor office to be the head of it? What have you seen behind the scenes that we talk about, but we don't really know what's going on?
Okay, I can tell everybody, I'll give you a few examples of what's going on. The first thing I can tell you is that 70% of the people that are incarcerated in the Norfolk City Jail right now are pre-trial. That means they are presumed to be innocent. The majority of those people are in there because they can't make their bond. So what ends up happening, you have someone sleeping on a bench, they get charged with trespass, they go to jail, they get a $1,500 bond, they stay there for 6 months because their cases keep getting continued because of COVID, and then they go to court and get a 10-day jail sentence. But they have languished in the jail for 6 months because they can't pay a bondsperson $150. That needs to stop. When someone goes to jail even for a day, they can lose their job, they can lose public housing if they have it, depending on what they're charged with. Another thing that happens is when you're in Virginia, as soon as you get charged, whether you're found guilty or not, that charge goes on your record. So if you get a felony in Virginia that you could get dismissed, as soon as you get it, you have to move out of public housing. You can't go visit your mom and your grandmother. You can't go on the property. So just being charged has so many collateral consequences that all of that needs to stop. I can tell you one last thing that I was just discussing with Rhoda. I have a case right now where I have a client, black male, he's a vet. He has charges and his guidelines, meaning how much active time he should get, is 1 day to 6 months. I can tell you that he has been out since April 20th. He got a bond. He's been out since April 20th, hasn't had any more charges, and is doing awesome. So his guidelines are 1 day to 6 months. Guidelines, by the way, is what the Virginia legislature and other states have come up with to determine how much time somebody should serve, how much active time they should serve. His active time recommendation that is not race related is 1 day to 6 months. He's been out for a year. I've been a defense attorney for over 20 years. I feel confident that I could talk to the judge about either giving him all probation or just giving him that 1 day. The recommendation is 1 day. Right before the preliminary hearing, the Norfolk Commonwealth Attorney's Office, the date of the email is January 29th. The Norfolk Commonwealth Attorney's Office sends me an email. This is what the email says. Your client's guidelines are a day to 6 months. Your client is out on bond, so they know this. We undercharged your client. We forgot to charge him with the mandatory 3-year charge. Now, before I tell you what the rest of the email says, I want to let you know that this Commonwealth Attorney's Office that I'm talking about signed a letter in January saying they are against mandatory minimum. They signed a letter that went to the legislator that said they're against mandatory minimum. The reason is because they tie judges' hands. So this prosecutor's office that said they're against mandatory minimums sends me a letter and it says, if your client, we know his guidelines are 1 day to 6 months, but we've already charged him. He has to waive his constitutional right to a preliminary hearing, waive his right to a trial. If he pleads guilty, we'll agree that he goes into custody for 1 year and 8 months. If he doesn't agree, we're going to give him the 3-year mandatory charge.
Wow.
So what is he supposed to do? I'm letting you know, I've been a defense attorney for 20 years, so I'm not surprised at the shenanigans of this case. What I am surprised about is the fact that this is the same prosecutor's office that said they're against mandatory minimums. Then why are you bringing a mandatory minimum 1 year later to force my client to give up his constitutional rights? That's wrong. There's so many stories that I have. I can tell everybody again, I've been doing criminal defense for 20 years. Last year, I saw the Netflix movie 13th, and I felt pumped. I felt like I had been used because I felt like working in the system is like validating the system. And after I saw 13th, I didn't feel comfortable doing that anymore. So I decided, what can I do to make a real change? And that's becoming the head of the prosecutor's office. So that's what I'm trying to do. I need everybody to come out and vote on June 8th. Everybody in the city of Norfolk, and I need everybody in Virginia to come out on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd and get flyers in your window so you can let everybody know about this June 8th date. That is one story. If you multiply that by numerous citizens, I'm only one defense attorney. So this prosecution's office is doing that. Just multiply it. It's ridiculous. So what they say about being progressive is not, it's disingenuous.
Wow. And you heard it here first, guys. We need people in office just like her, guys, so we can have change in our office. They say if you won't change, be part of the change. In order to be part of the change, you must come out on June 8th and vote her in, so these things that they're doing towards us and also against us will cease here in the 757. I am the infamous Miss Rhoda Young Live. Well, you do see it here first. Before Wavy News 10, Channel 3, and also Channel 13 News. We can sit by and do nothing, or we can stand and change something here in Norfolk, Virginia. One more thing before you go.
Yes.
One more thing. How many people do you think may be incarcerated that should be released?
I can tell you that my belief is usually over 60%. Right now, I know for a fact, according to what Sheriff Barron said about 2 weeks ago, 70% of the people that are in custody are pre-trial. That means they are presumed to be innocent. They haven't been tried, but they're sitting there. That's 70%. So the majority of those people are not rapists, murderers, and robbers. They are people that don't have the money to get out on bond. And a lot of my platform is at www.amina4norfolk.com. One of the things that I talk about, in fact, the first thing is integration of the Norfolk Community Services Board with the criminal system. I'm the chair of the Norfolk Community Services Board. Instead of a police officer, like the trespass charge, when a police officer sees someone laying on the bench for trespass, instead of booking him on a bond that he's not going to be able to make, I would like to have an integration of all of the systems where they can just call the Norfolk Community Services Board 24 hours a day and say, we have someone that's homeless. Can we bring him? They have a homeless program. that's going on. But you have to talk to the people in the community. The people in the community care, and they want to do things, but the Commonwealth Attorney's Office is not reaching out to them.
Look, I heard from a lawyer, a powerful lawyer out of Portsmouth, Virginia. He said out his own mouth, he said the system is unfair. He said they've been lying to us for many of years. He said it states by law innocent until proven guilty, but that's infactual. Because you can go down there and put a warrant on me. I never seen you a day in your life, and I will go to jail for a warrant that I know nothing about. So why is the system lying to us and telling us we're innocent until proven guilty when clearly we're guilty until we can, if we can, prove ourselves innocent? Can you elaborate?
I agree. As a matter of fact, I can tell you that I stopped saying criminal justice system.
Right.
I just call it the criminal system, because to me there is no justice. The criminal system criminalizes people and it denies justice. So one of the things as head of the Commonwealth Attorney's Office that I would do is I would make sure that we are prosecuting. When I say prosecuting, we're overseeing misdemeanor cases. That's not happening right now. So you're right. Anybody can come down, take a misdemeanor against someone else. We would at least be able to take a look at that, try to do some investigation and dismiss it if necessary. Right now, the Commonwealth Attorney's Office is not handling misdemeanor cases. I can tell you that there's a number of misdemeanor cases that are brought that should be reviewed. Prosecutors have duties, ethical duties, just like lawyers do, but they have a higher ethical duty. The American Bar Association has indicated that prosecutors' job is not just to convict, it's to seek justice. And if that means not bringing criminal charges, then they have the power to do that. And the American Bar Association indicates that. Prosecutors also have a duty to give defense counsel exculpatory evidence. That needs to be done on a consistent basis, and it needs to be done timely. So there's a lot that I would change coming from the aspect of a defense attorney. I am not prosecutorial minded. I think that's the problem with this system. So I agree, it is unjust, which is why I'm asking everyone to come out and support me on June 8th.
Wonderful, wonderful. Also, I would like to know for Facebook and also myself, how can we change the system for say, the court system? Okay, I get locked up, I get incarcerated, I get a bond that I can't afford. But my court date, the judge has given me a court date, is June 15, 2021. But my court date ain't until January 2022. But I can't afford the bond. Shouldn't it be a limit of how much time I can stay in jail until that court date if I cannot afford the bond? Why should I have to stay in jail from June 2021 to January 2022 just to find out that I'm not guilty?
So, the first thing, my first, and I'm going to say first 100 days in office, I would identify everybody that's in the Norfolk City Jail that has a bond, and send release orders to the court and ask that they be released on PR bond. So people that are in there with a surety bond, I would ask that they be released on a PR bond, and hopefully that they would get out immediately. But with regard to what you're saying, there is a speedy trial statute. However, the speedy trial statute, just like every other statute in Virginia, says you should be tried within a certain amount of time unless there's good cause, and the judges determine good cause. So that's just that's kind of an out, I guess. There is a statute that's supposed to address that, but it doesn't work. But I agree, people should not be held pre-trial for a number of reasons. By the time you get out of jail, you could have lost your job, you could have lost your benefits, relatives die.
Right.
You know, so you shouldn't be held in jail pre-trial when you're presumed to be innocent.
Right.
And you definitely shouldn't be held once a judge has determined that you're not a threat to the community, that you're not a threat to yourself, and that you're likely to appear in court. That means you've gotten a bond. Then why are you still being held just because you can't afford it?
Wow.
So definitely, look, I already know there's like a list of things that I would change immediately.
Wow.
That I know that I can do within the first 30 to 60 days.
Wow.
So I already, there's...
And what's your date again?
June 8th. I'm asking everybody to come out on June 8th. It's the same place you voted for president. So just go to your regular voting place. I can tell you There are 2 other candidates running against me. I'm the 3rd candidate on the ballot, which, you know, but I'm the 3rd one. So look for my name 3rd under Commonwealth Attorney. It's Amina Matheny Willard. This is my sign. I'm going to be getting out, but I'm asking everybody to come out to the Soul Food Kitchen on April 2nd, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4. Meet me and get some flyers so we can spread the word about June 8th.
All right, guys, and you heard it here first. If you're looking for change in your neighborhood, come on out on June 8th, guys, and vote her in on June 8th. We was just speaking about how important it is not to just vote for the President of the United States, but vote for different offices that's running. We need someone like herself that's going to get your people out of jail, that's in jail unjust. I am the infamous Miss Rhoda Young Live. She says she is number 3 on the ballot. When you go to the polls on June 8th that they don't want you to know about, the secret elections, they are called secret elections to keep us from voting. Get on out the house and stop sitting back and thinking somebody else going to vote for you. You have to vote for yourself. June 8th, we need to come out our houses. If you want to stop seeing your kids in jail, if you want to stop seeing your grandkids in jail, if you want to stop seeing your friends in jail, your children fathers, your children mothers in jail for unjust reasons, come on out your house on June 8th and vote her in. I am the infamous Miss Rhoda Young Live. Well, you did hear it here first. Before Wavy News 10, Channel 3, and also Channel 13 News. Number what on the ballot?
I'm 3rd on the ballot, but I'm going to be the 1st Black woman in the House.
Just like that, and you seen it here first. Thank you.
Carlos, wait, you got to leave at 11.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. This is just.
I have a matter before the Chesapeake court system.